This week's debate is going to be particularly important for President Obama because he's coming off of, I think, what even his supporters would charitably describe as an off night, a less than stellar performance, in fact, a miserable performance in the first debate. So I think the expectations for him are going to be high. He has to bounce back, but in an interesting way, and what it may seem almost counterintuitive, that may put him in a relatively good position strategically. Mitt Romney did very well in the first debate, widely acknowledged to have dominated the debate. The polls reflected that. He got a little bit of a bounce out of that, perhaps 2, 3, 4 points, as we've seen in some areas. So, but that now puts him in the position of having high expectations, both for his supporters and that scant few people who are undecided. They're going to expect him to do well. So anything less than a superior performance by him, I think, could set him back. So the dynamic is, I think, is going to be almost reversed where it was, that President Obama is coming off a bad performance. If he does well, that's beating expectations. Governor Romney coming off a good performance. If he doesn't meet high expectations, he could find himself sliding once again. And the vice presidential debate, too, figures into this. What we saw in the vice presidential debate was a very feisty, some may say a little bit of a condescending Joe Biden, but extremely aggressive. And to an extent, what he did teed up, to use a sports cliche, teed up the ball pretty well for President Obama. He went very hard at Governor Romney's positions on everything from the tax cuts for the wealthy, foreign policy, suggesting that Governor Romney was a naif when it came to that area, or that he was going to stumble into a war in the Middle East. In many ways, I think Vice President Biden opened the way for President Obama now to come back and work those wounds, so to speak. Now, what on the Republican side, the Congressman Ryan, he did an impressive job just establishing that gravitas that voters look for. Could this man be vice president? Could he, with seasoning, step into the White House? That was the question that I think he had to face, and I think he did that fairly well. But vice presidential debates do not live long in memory. Even the worst debates tend to slip away. And I think after this week's presidential debate, we won't think too much more about what happened with the vice presidential side.